Hey, good afternoon, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever else on social media this may be found or archived. It's Brendan here at Top Secret Imports in Durham, North Carolina. So today we've got kind of a different inventory walk around video to do with you guys. And this week we'll be doing a few more of these. They'll start to come out here in the coming days over the next couple of weeks. This is one of our custom K trucks that we've kind of become known for. And in fact, this is what we had originally called our Honda Acty Black Edition. And it is actually one of my very first custom K truck builds. This vehicle is back in here on consignment from the now first stateside owner who's had it for going on a couple of years. So I wanted to take you around this vehicle, show you some of the modifications that we did to it to get it ready, show you some of the modifications that the owner has done to it, and show you what an incredible build this thing is inside and out. This unit will be available on our website soon, as well as here on the lot to check out in person or test drive here in Durham, North Carolina. So taking you around this vehicle, the most notable thing you see on the exterior, of course, is sort of this Nardo gray or battleship gray paint. This was a Nardo gray repaint that we had done in Japan years ago. When we brought it into the US, we decided to go ahead with the black badges, take care of some of the trim and accessory black, and then really kind of build out a full custom interior to highlight this truck. So this truck has a ton more stuff to offer on the inside as well. We're gonna take you around that in a second. But progressing over the years with this build, the owner really took it to the next level. When we started doing these, we weren't going full on with our builds. They were largely wheels, tires, paint and body, interior customizations and the like. I wanted to kind of take you guys around this vehicle and we're gonna show you all of its modifications from the ground up. First and foremost, and one of the most striking elements of this build are these beautiful black rhino wheels. This is a 14x8. It does give you some moderate poke, has an aggressive look, but I think really pairs nicely with the rest of this build. And it is riding on some all-season street tires right now that have a rolling diameter, I believe, of approximately 22 inches. It does have the muddy bottom 2-inch lift kit, as well as the 275-pound springs up front. And you'll notice that the entire undercarriage of this vehicle was painted and reconned back at the time it was done in Japan a few years ago. Of course, going to the back wheels, you have the same as the front. But to highlight the attention to detail that the current owner has paid and the care and maintenance that has gone into this truck, we do have remanufactured rear CV axles with the new larger CV boots to give you a little more flexibility with the increased diameter, or excuse me, with the change in geometry on those axles under there. So it rides nicely on its lift. And you do have a couple of other little tidbits underneath that will show you around the other side. You do have a freshly blacked out front factory bumper. Of course, the black Honda badges, as well as a cool color match custom decal set that was used around the vehicle. So continuing around on the passenger side, behind the cover here, you do have a fresh battery. This was installed last year. There is a brand new coolant overflow reservoir or expansion tank, also located behind the battery cover. And you do have a recently installed Horn Blasters air horn, which has a compressor underneath the passenger seat to drive the air horn. Beyond that, you also have an external 12-volt tie-in here where you do have your 12-volt power and ground available and accessible in order to easily add additional accessories if you'd like to do so. So coming around the back of the truck, you see that it has not only the complete custom decal set, but of course a custom tag to go with it. In the rear of the truck, you've got a beautifully restored and blacked out headache rack. You do have an independent cargo light that has been changed out in favor of a more modern Amazon unit. And this is hooked to the switch in the cabin, so you do have the full factory function of the cargo light switch inside with really, really increased light on the exterior of the truck. And then of course, you've seen this modification perhaps online, on Facebook, in some of the groups. This is a roof basket that can be purchased either via Amazon, or I believe Harbor Freight may sell a similar model. And it includes an extension rod and section for the center of the basket, which can easily be omitted. And then with a little backyard engineering and some tubular conduit, you will just tie and tap these together with some self-tapping sheet metal screws, and then use the provided rubber sort of covers that came with the roof basket to cover the joints that would be there if you added that center section. This will allow you to collapse this basket enough and mount it, of course, on the factory rain gutters over the doors of the Acty, making this a very easy DIY modification. And then of course, if you're off-road, if you're out and about, if you're camping, or if you're trying to look for firewood through a swath of wood line out there in the wilderness, you do have an extreme LED front-facing light bar, which is incredibly, incredibly bright. And inside we'll show you again some of those custom touches on the interior do include its own auxiliary panel of switches that handle all of these accessories and their functions. So again, really nice build inside and out. And now we'll take you to the inside and show you some of that stuff. All right, so hopefully the lighting here in our lobby is going to be suitable to really highlight some of the features of this interior. Now, as the Honda Acty Black Edition, and as it was originally spec'd, this was a Nardo gray over a double black interior and wheel and tire combo. So inside of the cabin here is very dark without some proper studio lighting. But just to take you in from the top down here to make it hopefully a little easier, first and foremost, you do have a full Alcantara headliner, recovered leatherette sun visors, and then we even continued that Alcantara headliner down the A-pillars to really give this a very elegant and complete look. You do have an aftermarket grab handle here. Some of these are accessible from the online accessory shops and some of the boutique folks that make things for the Actys and other K-trucks. You do have a fully dyed interior plastics motif here, where we of course blacked out the original brown Acty Town interior components and blacked them all out into this sort of satin gray, inclusive of the steering wheel, of course the bezel around the odometer and tachometer, a feature that is distinct to the Acty Town model, and then of course the center console and other plastics. The door cards, as you can see over on the far side here, were also redone. Their black plastics were dyed to match, and then a faux suede and Recaro motif door card insert placed to bring the seating design out there to the door cards and give you tie the look together very nicely. As one of our first builds, we were experimenting with a couple of things at the time. So you'll notice the upper half of the cabin here, we had actually decided to go with a matte black paint around the window surround to give it a sort of framed out look. But then from the rear window frame down, underneath the seats, and across both the passenger and driver's floorboards, you're gonna find that the entire truck has been lined with Dynamat and had a custom carpet kit installed. Of course, this is under the refoamed and recovered seats using some of that Recaro fabric that can be found on eBay. Now, this is not a genuine Recaro fabric, but much like the Bride fabric, the B-R-I-D-E fabric that most people pronounce bride until they hear it pronounced, this Recaro fabric really offers a beautiful aesthetic, comes in an array of colors, and is a nice touch to kind of sort of bring your build to life a little bit, especially when emulating something like a 90s Honda build here. So now coming into the cabin, as you climb in and go to use many of the accessories, lights, and functions. Of course, you have pretty standard stuff here for an Acty or an Acty Town of this era. You do have manual windows, of course, manual door locks. So again, as with it being an Acty Town, not only do you have your standard HVAC controls and your OE cargo lamp switch, but part of this build, in adding the air horn as well as the front-facing light bar, the owner wanted to go ahead and add a compressor function as well. So this auxiliary switch array offers you independent compressor operation in case you need to air up tires while utilizing your truck off-road. It offers, of course, the air horn for rude and aggressive drivers on the road, and then it offers your extreme LED front-facing light bar switch. So to go along with that, you have a 3D printed cup holder, which does replace the factory ashtray. You've got beautifully dyed plastics throughout the entire center console, a custom shift knob, and just the tiniest bit of evidence that you have an air tank under your seat sticking out from underneath the passenger seat, which really does not get in the way of any passenger usage. The same little parcel tray and glove box are retained as part of the original factory Acty interior. You like that? Factory Acty interior. Of course, windshield strip and tint put on by the existing owner so that you can reject some of the summer heat from the cabin and, of course, offer a little privacy to those riding inside. So again, beautifully redone Honda Acty Town, one of our first custom K trucks, now affectionately known as the Honda Acty Black Edition. This truck has been locally owned and loved for in excess of a couple of years now, and again on consignment with us and back on the market here because the owner is getting ready to do a new build on a different truck. So this one we're going to be offering and looking for a new home probably by middle end of this week. We've got a few last little details we're going to take care of on it, double check all the major systems. We're going to take it for a little drive, take y'all along for that. That way you can see that this thing is in great operating condition and ready for its new home prior to buying. All right, so a little bit of behind the scenes. We're getting ready to pull this out of here, but a lot of what we do around here is also prepping and reconditioning our own vehicles for sale and servicing either vehicles we've sold for the customer or in some cases even servicing and repairing things for the customer immediately after sale. So this recent build here for a local small business done in their custom company colors is actually a little catering mobile for a really well-known gourmet Mexican popsicle company here in Durham, North Carolina. So when they went out and used this for the first couple of events, everything was going great. And then they experienced a little hesitation on it when it was going down the road. So we think it's possible that there may be a failing fuel pump in this vehicle. So of course, based on when it occurred and the date that they bought it, it was really important to us to go ahead and stand behind the products we sell after the sale. And in fact, I think we might have done a little video or a little something on this vehicle as it was coming along. But we've taken this back in for the customer, gonna look it over, figure out what's going on, and we'll probably go ahead and goodwill that repair for them to make sure that their ownership experience starts off on a positive note. Couple little things. When we were doing this build, we had neglected to change the lock cylinder from the donor van to the rear hatch of this vehicle. So when they went to lock or unlock the hatch using the key, of course, it didn't fit the old cylinder. We've since gotten that switched out. Easy peasy, nothing to it right there. And we're gonna go ahead, get this fueling issue figured out, get the running and hesitation figured out, and get them back up on the road this week. So again, a little behind the scenes for you on what we deal with on a daily basis. It's not just buying, importing, selling K trucks. There's a lot more that goes into this than meets the eye. All right, so if you're still filming, we'll get ready to go ahead and pull this thing out of the lobby now and take you for a little ride along and show you just what kind of excellent running condition this thing's in, show you how it handles. For those of you that question, lift kits, tires, wheel and tire combos, things like that, and maybe how that will affect its road speed and on-road use. This is going to be a great ride-along video for you to find out a little bit more about that and see how this unit performs out here on some major 45 and 55 mile per hour roadways. Again, fully lifted, 14-inch wheel and tire combo, 8-inch wide, 22-inch rolling diameter. So this thing's dragging a lot of rubber up the road. We'll take you along. I'm gonna have my GPS running on my phone, and we'll talk about the speed that we're seeing on the speedometer versus the actual GPS measured speed on my device. So follow along. We're getting ready to get it out of the lobby. All right, let's see how quickly and in how few maneuvers we can get this thing out of the lobby. That's 2. 3. 4. And now this is 5 as I swing out the double doors. Not bad, not bad. All right, welcome to our ride along here. I don't know if I mentioned this in the earlier part of the video, but it's worth noting we've got a 93 Honda Acty here. So obviously for those of you that picked up on that from around the front end of this truck, it does have the pre-94 or pre-95 headlights, and the turn signal configuration is the pre-94 or pre-95. I don't know why I can't remember that today. Probably because I've got a lot going on, because I don't know if you've noticed this as well, but I'm basically a dealership and business of one. So I have been helping people on the lot. I've been trying to take care of a couple of things for the service side of the business, including bringing some vehicles in for customers to get some work done on K-trucks, and of course social media here, which is important just from a sales and marketing perspective, letting the world know what we do and what we've got, and then to also take you kind of on a ride along in some of our units here. So, you know, obviously, as you just saw, we started this run with a couple of rollers as we come up and down those first hills leaving our dealership. This is the same route we've been taking you guys on, so it's going to become just sort of a consistent theme of ours to run it up the road here, hit this rural roundabout, and take you back over to the shop. More about kind of showing you, you know, its capabilities out here on road. So here we are. You know, this is a 55 mile per hour roadway in front of me. We've got the pole position next to a Cadillac here, but he doesn't even know the kind of heat that I'm about to bring. So let's see how this thing fares off the line against this Cadillac. I think our pace car is behind us as well. So, oh, we got the drop on him. We got the dig, folks. We got the dig. Now, he's got more mid-class, mid-range horsepower and torque. Oh, man. Oh, he's just showing off at this point, I think. We're going to slide over into the left lane and catch our exit up ahead. We're going to let this very polite BMW behind us kind of come past. Oh, that explains it. He's, oh, I thought it was a wagon. I was going to say, he's probably polite because he's in a BMW wagon, but it's an X1, which kind of is a wagon. At any rate, this guy, like I said, we're pulling a lot of rubber up the road, and we have that steep climb as we're leaving our shop, but this thing really does quite well. We're cruising at 100 kilometers per hour. I totally forgot about my GPS, so we're gonna let my passenger hold the wheel real quick while I pull up Waze. And we are going 55 miles per hour, while the odometer is reading 95 kilometers. Very close. So we're taking the exit here at 57. The speedometer in the truck is incredibly close for being on these 14s. I think because it does have a relatively short sidewall, we're probably closer to the factory calibration than a lot of other 14s would be on a taller knobby tire. So again, that's that same little rural roundabout that we have over here next to our local DMV office. Coming back over the overpass here, and we're just going to take the highway right back to the shop. So coming around the rural roundabout, I'm hitting this in 4th gear, downshifting into 3rd here, mid roundabout, and then we're going to be taking this exit, which puts us back out here onto the on-ramp. And here we go. So again, 14-inch wheels and tires. I'm shifting into 4th as I hit about 60 to 70 kilometers per hour, or like 36 to 42. And now I'm gonna hold 4th up this hill a little bit because we do have a bit more drag than your average Acty. So we're holding at about 85, 90 kilometers uphill in 4th gear. And she's gonna start building speed as we level out up here, hitting again about that 90 to 95 kilometers an hour, or about 55 to 57 miles per hour. Hop into this left lane here, see if we can get a couple of quick slide-by rollers. Again, going about 60 miles an hour here in this 55. Just kind of took the left lane because we'll be going left into our dealership up and over the next couple of hills. But again, you know, comfortable, controlled, drives very similar to a stock Acty. Probably takes a little bit longer to sort of work through that power band in 4th gear, but does just fine, especially once you're up to speed, 45, 50, 55 miles an hour. It'll maintain, you know, and vary its speed up there, give or take 10 miles per hour in either direction, so that you can do, you know, basic U.S. roadway driving. So nice little lifted K truck. Again, 2-inch lift kit, the 275-pound springs, 14-inch wheel and tire, running an 8-inch wide wheel. So a little more drag, like I was saying, but again, very, very manageable. Gets up to speed, holds speed. We'll be taking this left into our dealership here. And thanks for riding along and checking it out. 1993 Honda Acty Black Edition. This one will be ready, up for sale, and on consignment here a little later this week. Check it out on the website or stop by to see it in person.